Something smelled on this combine. I could smell just a little bit of some maybe hot chaff, which is never a good thing. Good morning, Monday. The sun's bright. I got my thick coat on this morning. There's actually a little bit of frost, so that'll actually help the beans mature. Man, what a beautiful morning though. Pretty. Love this time of year. Unfortunately, we've got a little bit of a it's a minor breakdown, but Dad's got an O-ring that is leaking, and we're hoping it's just the fitting, but I'm kind of thinking it's the aluminum block valve. So. I'm going to be able to pull right in on the scales. Into the pit we go. All right. This place used to be decent. Actually, really nice. Not so much anymore. You got to get out and dump yourself. That's not a big deal. But literally, the dump guys sit there or stand there and tell you to stop, hand you a crank, and then you got to crank it yourself. As I sit there and watch you, I don't understand it. I'm fine with dumping myself, but I don't know. Maybe go do something else productive. They have made some decent improvements here though. They put some asphalt right here this year, so it's a lot smoother. Well, back here to the shop. Got that load hauled in. Look who decides to show up finally.
I come bearing gifts. For me. For Jonathan.
Good night.
Here, you take that, I'll take this. It might be a little thicker.
So Jonathan said. So here's the fitting that we got from Berkey's. A lot of times the O-rings will go bad on these, but the one that we took off looked fine. There's an O-ring right there and an O-ring right here. As you can see, we've got a little bit of a leak. That's oil, and then the dust stuck to it. I'll take you up here. I'd say right in there is our problem. Valve block controls the auger swing in and out, the unloading auger, and it only leaks when the auger is swung. Is it in or out? In. It only leaks when the auger swings in. So there's a bunch of valving, and there's a solenoid right on top of there, as you can see. So this little fitting that I got, it's $12. I'm hoping this is it. I kind of doubt it. If it's not it, then that block has a crack in it around the threads. That block, which looks to be about 5 inches square by 4 inches tall, that thing's $2,400. So we're going to take this out and see if we can see where it's leaking exactly. Well, we got to swing our auger out just a little bit, so one, we can get in there and work a little easier, and two, we've got the block cleaned off, and so I want to swing it out and then swing it back in just to see exactly where it's leaking from. So our shop's not big enough to completely open our auger. up in there and see where it's leaking.
Well, they had to put the old fart up here to work. The 24-year-olds.
Gotta keep them young.
Gosh, they don't like to get dirty in the morning. We had the old 64-year-old up here yesterday. He had a doctor's appointment this morning. I guess what happens when you get old, you gotta go to the doctor in the morning. Oh.
That's alright, I'll stop.
Look at the leakage here. Kind of what Jonathan's like every morning after he eats his donut, coffee.
You think Assassin's Creed all crouched up there?
Is this a new one?
Yeah.
Well, I've got a bracket going up right up my crevasse. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel very good.
You might have to do it from right here.
Oh,
you got it.
There we go.
Well, I didn't fix it, but it's leaking from a different fitting. It's not that fitting, I don't think. It's coming from the. I think it's coming from that one right there.
The rubber hose one?
I think. So I'm gonna get up there and look. Let's see if I can't get down here without falling and hurting myself. Okay, I think we figured it out. I think it's this plug right there.
Box. So right there, that was causing our issue, I hope. I may have one that size, we'll see. We've got it put on right there. So we'll go screw it in and hope that it holds.
Well, I think that fixed it. As you guys saw, there was no oil leaking. There was a little bit of residual oil left over from when we were draining it, but I had them open and close the auger 3 different times and nothing leaked, so.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a while. We've kind of just been jumping around trying to find stuff that'll go. Today's Wednesday. We've been cutting beans all this week, so we've been finally getting into a rhythm. Last week we were kind of bouncing around from different cornfields, so that's how that's been going. But right now we're actually doing seed beans. So what we're going to do with those seed beans, we aren't going to take them to the elevator anywhere. We're going to take them back to the shop, back to a bin, and then we'll store those usually till springtime, February, March. Sometimes they come and get them before the end of the year, but it just kind of depends when they want them. So what these seed beans are going to do, they're actually seed stock for next year, so they'll be planted by maybe us and then farmers all over the place in spring of 2023. But yeah, everything's going good, and I'll keep you guys updated. Well, we just finished this 125 acres. So we're gonna get both heads off and get moved to the next field, which is just luckily a few miles down the road. Well, it turns out we had a change of plans, which go figure, that happens a lot in farming. Unbeknownst to me, Dad and Luke had been discussing, and we decided not to continue on seed beans because the moisture is so low. They've been getting down to like 9%, which is not what we're looking for, and seed beans because once it starts getting that dry, the beans start to split and crack, which is obviously not good for something that you're going to plant the next year, because then that individual seed is obviously not viable. And we're also losing money in the form of weight, because obviously water weighs something, and when you go down a couple percent, that adds up. And when you take it to the elevator, they weigh you and then go by bushels. So when you have less moisture, you have less weight, which equals less money.
Bouncing. Ah, this combine does not ride very smooth. I don't know why. I let some air out of the tires, thinking that would help. It's a little better. My dad's combine, which Jonathan is back there behind me, it rides a lot smoother. We are almost to our destination. We'll see you guys there. Well, we made it. Jonathan's in that combine there. Gonna hook up the head. I'll get out and hook onto this one. And we'll see you guys here in, I don't know, in about 1 second. There we go. I'd say they're making right at 80 or a little over. They should be really some of our best, if not our best, beans for the whole farm. They had a little bit more rain over here. We planted these. These were the first ones we planted. We didn't really want to be over here this late cutting them, but it's working out okay. Right now it says 87 bushel the acre, 88. I saw it hit 94 earlier. So, but that little bit of rain has helped them. They're not as dry as they were last week, that's for sure. So that'll help with the shattering and the extra moisture that we can sell to the elevator. I'll dump on here and see how much is in this cart. I'm not really sure. I don't think there's very much. We'll go check it out. Sample looks pretty good. Pretty good sized beans, which is good. Oh yeah, it's empty, pretty much. They're dry, they're like 10.5%. Nominal moisture for beans is 13. So there's less water in the beans and they crack a lot easier. So we'll hop up here and see what they look like. We're looking for splits, if we can find any, which there are some in here. Not too bad, I slowed my rotor down, so hopefully it'll be all right. I'm gonna set you guys up here so you can have a time lapse of this, whether you want to watch it or not. That's what I'm going to do. So if you fall in, just yell for help and I'll stop the combine and come in after you. stretch my legs a little bit. Something smelled on this combine. I could smell just a little bit of some maybe hot chaff, which is never a good thing. You guys got dust all over you, which is never a good thing. This happened a couple weeks ago when we were picking corn. There was actually a bearing out. So that is you got to be careful. You always got to be smelling and listening when you're running a combine, because things get hot and there's lots of dry dust and chaff everywhere. Very easy to start a combine fire. So I'm gonna look this over. I need to get downwind of it so I can smell better. You can see where chaff and stuff piles up in here. That's a gearbox right there. So if you have a bearing go out, it's very, very easy for things to start on fire. But we've had, it's been real windy, which normally isn't a good thing when you're harvesting, because that can cause fires, but it keeps the combine a little cleaner and doesn't cause as much chaff buildup. But I don't really smell much. I prayed for a good day today, that we wouldn't have any breakdowns, minimal breakdowns, or combine fires, so, all right. I need to use the restroom. This looks like a good spot.
Like Jonathan found the public restroom.
I don't recommend doing this, climbing on top of a bin when it's windy out with a camera in your hand. But for the shot. Oh, shoot. Well, it's about 7:30. The pods are probably still dry. The beans are definitely still dry. The stems are getting a little tough. It's pulling down quite a bit and requiring a little more horsepower. So we're going to go ahead and quit, and we will hopefully finish this field tomorrow with no issues. We'll see you guys in the morning. Next day, good morning. If you can tell, my neck is, I can't turn it very well. Left or right, up or down. My left arm is stiff. I'm not really sure. Two things, possibly. Number one, it could be that Jonathan was giving me a ride down the road to the other semi truck, and I was hanging off the side of the semi, and I said, "Speed up, I can make it." Well, as I looked at the ground moving, it was moving quicker than my feet were, so I jumped off into the grass and bit it. It was pretty funny. I wish I'd have gotten on camera, or it could just be lack of sleep. But anyway, my neck is stiff. Took an Advil this morning. So we're gonna head to the field. All right, here at the farm where we're cutting beans, pulled the filters out this morning, blew them out. I blew the cab filter out and the engine filter out, and fueled it up. And I thought, well, while I'm here, I'll go ahead and blow off a little bit of the combine. It's important to blow off around moving parts. They're a machine. They lots of moving parts, lots of heat, dry material. I mean, they're just a recipe for fires. It's quite frightening, actually. Here's an example here, just around all these pulleys. Chaff will build. There's a shield right there that I took off. Chaff will build around these pulleys, and these pulleys have, of course, bearings right back here. And it's nothing for a bearing to go out and Metal on metal, what's that cause? Friction. Friction causes heat. Heat causes fire. You have all that chaff, and that chaff catches fire and falls on the ground, and then before you know it, your whole field's on fire. It's pretty scary. So I told you guys yesterday, I told you I got out and I could smell something, just a little bit of a smoldering, and so I looked around the combine, as you saw, couldn't find anything. Well, I was blowing the left side of the combine off, and there's some more pulleys right there. There, you know, piles of chaff build up on the batteries, and they build up back here underneath these hoses around that chopper shaft, and it built up, a pile of it built up right here. Well, looky here. That, my friends, is burnt chaff. This wire got hot and was smoldering. There was a pile of chaff here. You can see just the outline of it. There's a pile of chaff probably 4 or 5 inches tall just sitting right here, and it just insulated these wires. And I don't know why the wires got hot. They did. It melted the plastic coating on here. I'm going to investigate this a little further and wrap it in some electrical tape. I knew I smelled something. I knew it. Well, this is the last pass.
Well, it looks like I get the last through for 2022.
Dad just took the words out of my mouth. Yep, sure do. Congratulations. That is the last pass.
Pretty good. Mean harvest. All through.
We were blessed with somewhat minimal breakdowns. Nothing that couldn't be fixed within a couple days. Beautiful weather. Beautiful bean cutting weather. No mud. Drier than I'd liked it to been, but hey, a dry harvest is way better than a wet harvest for sure. So I'm gonna dump this on the grain cart and drive right down the road a half a mile, get the combine switched over, start on corn just right there. So we'll be on corn here momentarily. I appreciate you guys watching. I hate to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. But if you would subscribe, if you're a new viewer, we would greatly appreciate it. So anyway, catch you guys in the next one. Do you have any comments or quotes to end the bean harvest?
Got a lot of corn to go.
We got a lot of corn to go. That's not a lie.